Well, it is about 8:50 p.m. and welcome to Beyond Foreclosed Doors, and where we teach you how to move beyond the doors that have locked you out of every opportunity. Tonight, I have with me my special guest, Clardy Richardson, who is Clardy Enterprises, and he's worked in many different fields when it comes down to real estate and all of the things that he's been involved in, ventures and investment. He's a local businessman who lives in the Texas area, Dallas, Texas. And I'm excited to have you because, brother, I've been knowing you a long time. And I just thank God for knowing you as long as I have. How long have we known one
Man,
another?
brother, it's amazing. Actually, I look back and we've actually known each other over right at 30 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's 30 years. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. And the funny thing about it is that when we first met, you were running a business. There was at that particular time it was the cell phone business, and that
Mhm.
was really trending.
Yeah.
It was really big at that particular time, and I think you were even an authorized dealer. So
Yeah.
what made you want to go into business, and maybe how far back do you go into business? Because that was the first thing I encountered with you, uh, and again, we met through our wives,
Right. Right.
but the first thing I noticed about you is that you were a businessman. I was a school teacher, and I was just kind of watching you. So can you tell me what made you want to actually diversify or go into business? Being a black man, that's a big
One reason.
step
Yeah.
too. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would say no. That's one reason right there.
Okay.
Being a black man, but sir, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate uh, coming together and just breaking bread and just sharing, you know, about my life and about what you're doing. First of all, congratulations to your new, excuse me, your new channel, and
Uh-huh.
we're excited to see what God is going to do with that. And I've been following you. I've been in actually total amazement to, like you say, when I look back 30 years ago, I still had hair at that time, and
Yeah.
it wasn't great. And matter of fact, our wives was our girlfriends at that time, and now they have
Uh-huh.
come to our
Right.
wives. So it's amazing how all that has turned around, and God has been good. He's been blessing. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of like one of those typical things. They tell you to go to school, get get a good education, go to college, so you can do what, come out and get a good job, and then you can marry the wife and have the kids with the picket fence, all of that. I bought the whole thing, and my family uh, has slated me to be a doctor. I was in the medical profession, so after going to college and actually becoming a nurse, a
Hmm.
surgical nurse, and working in surgery, I thought that I was on my way and that was the plan. But what I found out was that I was working long hours. In most ORs here in Texas, anyway, are in the basement, so
Hmm.
you don't see sunlight. So I would go in at 5:30 in the morning to get prepared for my cases for the day, and when I would come out, especially during daylight saving time, it'd be dark again. And, so I was, 6 days a week on call, 24/7. That was just not what I had. I had a wife and kids, and I was missing everything. And I didn't get to see half the things that my son was doing football.
Mm.
Every time we tried to do something as a family, I got called in to go do emergency surgery. So after doing that for 11 years, I just knew that I had to make a transition. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm still gonna go into be an anesthesiologist, all this type of stuff, right? But life gets in the way sometimes. Our dreams, you start saying, okay, well, maybe I won't be a doctor. Maybe I'll just be a nurse practitioner. Okay, well, maybe I won't be a nurse practitioner. Maybe I'll just be, and so next thing I know, I'm locked in and I'm not living life. I'm just working. No balance.
Mhm.
That's one thing I will
Mhm.
say to us as entrepreneurs, and even as people who work long hours on jobs, we have to get a balance. And so I didn't have a balance, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to spend more time with the kids and more time with my family, and then still be able to enjoy life. So I I always wanted to be in sales. So I started selling things on my spare time, like I had any, to try to just get into a different field and so forth. So I found myself starting my own business, and while I was working at the hospital, and I
Yeah.
was like the guy that was said, "My name is Lenny, and I got plenty." And I opened up my gown, and I got all kinds of stuff that I was selling to the doctors. I had the Mont Blanc pens, I had the colognes and the perfumes and the ties and all the stuff that they needed. Because guess what? I knew that they didn't have time to go shopping, right? So
Uh-huh.
I did the shopping for them to the point that they started telling me, "Hey, my wife is coming. Can you get this for me? Can you do it?" And finally, one of the doctors said, "Claude, I think you missed your calling. I
Uh,
think I think you making more money in the locker room than you making here at all." And I said, "You are absolutely right. I was making more money selling to the doctors because I had what a captive audience, and they bought everything." So after doing that, I kind of got the bug, and then from there I started selling other things, and then finally someone introduced me to an insurance company, and
oh, okay.
literally changed my life. But before that, I actually started working for Pepsi Cola because I was just trying to get out of the medical field, and
Okay.
because at that time AIDS was running crazy and everybody was, dying of AIDS, and I was afraid. I got stuck so many times, and I kept thinking, man, this job has gotten real dangerous, and so I just wanted to change up. So I did
Yeah.
that and started selling different things, and I found myself getting involved in the insurance industry and wound up becoming a senior VP of my own insurance company, and that was in 1987. Vince,
Okay.
1987. And at that point, I got a taste of the entrepreneur spirit because I started making more a month than I was making the whole year as a surgical nurse. And I just said, this is crazy. Why would I be doing anything else except for, and I learned about leverage.
Uh-huh.
They don't teach us those things in school. They don't teach us
Uh-huh.
about leverage. But the people that are in corporate America are all about leverage. They leverage
Mm,
us.
mm.
They pay us just enough so that we can keep coming to work, and we do just enough to keep them from firing us. And
Yeah.
so it was that process. And so after tasting the entrepreneurial life, I knew at that point in 1992, I walked away from corporate America all the way, and I've been self-employed. Matter of fact, you and I met. That's when I was doing starting the cell phone business. And I
Uh-huh.
started out in the paging, and it went to cell phones, and then I went from the cell phones to traveling abroad, doing another communication in the UK, coming back, marrying my wife because she gave me that ultimatum, said, "Look, dude, what you gonna do?" So we got married. She told me that I really needed to stay home and work on our marriage. We've been dating for 5 years, and now she says we need to get to know each other. I thought
Yeah.
I knew her. That's another
Uh,
show. That's another show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so so then we decided we was going to go in the mortgage business because I've always loved real estate. We started a mortgage company, had a lot of success with it, helped a lot of investors. A
Hmm.
lot of investors make money. Was seeing them making the money. I'm helping them close the deals. They was buying me little gifts and stuff for helping them close and stuff, but they wasn't breaking me off no real bread. I had to make mine on
Yeah.
the floor. So
Yeah.
after doing that, I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna invest, but be my own investor. I
Well,
understand.
now, the mortgage, how much that, what was the percentage on that, when you'd write a loan for that one?
Great question. So you would make anywhere between 1 to 3%, just like the real
Right.
estate.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
I do. I actually wrote loans myself. So
yeah,
I did
yeah,
that at one time. And I wrote my brother his loan for his house and everything, and sold insurance.
yeah.
So
You're right,
he
right.
still's got the insurance that I sold him the original plan. And he's
Wow.
also, I mean, and that's been over 30 years.
Yeah,
And then he's still staying in the house that, we got for him. And so that it's a good feeling. It made me feel good, although you're right. We don't make it. You didn't make a lot of money from that
yeah,
deal. As a matter of fact, I just split it with the guy that I was working with. Go
right.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No, you're right. And it's, and so my wife at that time, she was working for a collection agency.
Hmm.
And I knew that I had to get her out of that space because I
Hmm.
felt like every time she talked to me, she was collecting. So I said, baby, I gotta change your profession. I need to bring you over to this side. So I talked to her into starting this mortgage company and got her into the real estate space. And after having success with the mortgage business, we rolled it into our own real estate investment firm. started buying several properties. I dealt pretty much more with the new build. I was doing the builder closeout for builders. One of my biggest clients was D.R. Horton, and they under a national brand. And I every time they got ready to go to phase 2 or phase 3 or open up a new area, they come to me to help close out the old phases, because they say, "See, Rich, we got 6 properties that we need to close out to get you here. So what will you give us for them?" And I make them a deal. They take the deal. I take all 6. See, Rich, we got 12 properties that we need to close out. What do we take? And we just and from there, the blessings just was flowing. And next thing I know, I look up, I got 40, 50 properties that I'm managing, and I'm seeing success and buying our parents' homes, and we bought a new home, and you get a home. I thought I was Oprah for a minute. Everybody was getting a home.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
it was in that time.
wild.
And here's the funny thing about that. I thought that was going to last forever. And all of a sudden, in 2008, ladies and gentlemen, my whole life changed, because in 2008, life happened. And not only did it happen to me, but it happened to the whole country, right? And everything, the banks was going. And here's the funny thing. We helped make the banks a whole lot of money, right? I know I did. I know what I paid them and stuff. But when it came time for the bailout, nobody came to bail the small man out. They bailed out the big banks. They bailed out the auto industry. They bailed out the train industry. They bailed out the bank. They bailed out everybody. But they did not bail out the small entrepreneurs, right? So we found ourselves in a situation that we'd never been in before, because we had all this success and things are going great. And now all of a sudden, the rug has been pulled out from under us.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I would say about that was that I should have, when I look at it now, I would have diversified. I just stayed in the same space. Everything was in real estate. Everything I did was real estate. So when the whole market crashed, guess what? So did I.
Yeah.
Today we do a little bit different. We do several things now, and that's one time.
And in a way though, it's a blessing, because you learn, and the wisdom was gained from that.
Absolutely.
And I just think that wisdom, the Bible says the wisdom is the principal thing. And now you do understand diversification.
Yes.
And that I think that, God takes us through things to give us a heads up, to also get us prepared for 2023, 2024, because we are actually experiencing again another bubble. It seems like there's a bubble that's happening, because there's so much foreclosure happening all around here. And that's the reason I just had to start this channel, because I, as a minister, I need to say something about it. You know what I mean? And I preach about it all the time. I preach about David and Goliath, and that's what I was preaching about. Just how God still wants us to take territory, no matter how big the giant is.
Right.
And what do you think of some of the giant challenges that are that we're headed towards when it comes to the investment? I mean, you're doing investment now. What are you actually up against now? What do you?
The way that it's going, it's always still about, getting the funding. That's at the end of the day, it's just you can't have enough capital to be able to take action when you need to, because money right now is better than money promised later. So if you're waiting on something later, but if you get it right now, this is the time to get it, because you're right. There is a shift about to take place, and and I heard it. I don't know if it's going to be true or not, but it would make a big difference in the marketplace. But they were trying to put some rules and regulations in dealing with the hedge funds, that they are going to minimize or control how much hedge funds are able to purchase. Because right now, because of the hedge funds, they go to the auctions and they buy up everything, because they got an open checkbook. So when you have them in the marketplace competing with regular investors as well as buyers, now you have what? A shortage of real estate, because it's all being bought up. And the reason
Yeah.
that they're buying it up is because they know that the lending portion, the financing, people that's trying to qualify for homes right now, with it said that with the market today, only 25% of the US can buy the real estate that's on the market today. Only 25
Only 25%. Wow, that's
qualify.
amazing.
So when you
Yeah.
have a limited amount of inventory, and then you only have just a certain group of people that can qualify for it, now you see people paying rent for what people will be paying for mortgages.
Yeah.
Mortgage.
I was just reading that article. Was let me see this article here, right here. I was just looking at it, looking it over, and what you're saying is called foreclosure, the future of suburban housing, saying that right now people are going after rentals more
Yeah,
than they are now the comfort of having your own home, because
right.
the homes are just so unattainable. And then you have this limited supply, and then you have the hedge funds out there just buying everything up.
Yes.
It is an odd thing. Now I was in the auction maybe about a month ago, and I was able to secure some property,
Uh-huh.
but that was using the fact that it may have been a piece of property that nobody really wants anyway. You have to do your due diligence, in terms of that. So yeah, that's interesting. You can go ahead and talk this.
Yeah.
We're
Oh, that's
just
fine.
on it. There are
That's
three
fine.
people here right now. So later on we'll, who knows, if it gets too bad and the dog comes in and licks you on the side of the face, we'll edit that out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
We'll keep it. We'll keep it down. We'll keep it down. But
Yeah.
yes, I think that's happening in the marketplace, and that's why everyone is just buying up everything. They're buying up everything, and in the most part, they're not buying it to move it in themselves. They're buying it because they know that people still want to live in a home.
Right.
Some people don't want to be in apartments or stacked on people top people. They want to be in a home. So therefore, if they have to pay a little bit more to rent a home because they can't buy it, that's what people are doing. And so, excuse me, the market understands and knows that. So
Mhm.
because of that, what's about to happen with this shift that they're talking about, and interest rates hopefully going down some, you're going to start seeing more people wanting to buy homes, but right now there's a crisis when it comes to affordable homes.
Mhm.
There's the home prices have gotten so ridiculous. Like over uh,
Yeah.
not too far from where I live, the medium home is $400,000,
Yeah.
and that's just a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. It's not a 2,000 square feet. You pay, and then some people in other countries like, man, if you can get a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, almost 2,000 square feet for 400,000. That's a good deal. We'll take it. And that's what's
Yeah.
happening because here in Texas, you have people moving in from everywhere. Why?
Mhm.
Because they're selling their homes in California and New York and other northern states, and cashing out, and then they can come here and pay cash for a home and put some money in the bank. So,
Mhm.
so when you're in certain markets, the people are definitely coming and the investors are coming, and so that's going to be the challenge. And so in this space, you really have to start seeking and looking for private funding, private lenders, as opposed to the big industry, because the banks, they take you through so much because they have the people who have more money than you are coming to them and buying up their inventory, taking it right out their hands. They don't have to try to get you qualified because they know that they got this person that's just going to send them a check and pay cash for it.
Mhm.
So you talk about the giant, fighting the giant. That's what we're up against. And so I really believe that um, it's the builders are going to have to start building more energy efficient homes, but at the same time, the lenders are going to have to be supplemented for the most part to be able to allow more individuals, because at the end of the day, it's all about getting the investors their return on their investment. So these
Mhm.
lenders, these big banks, all this stuff, they got shareholders and all these people to answer to, and it's like they constantly want more and more and more and more. So it's kind of hard. Excuse me, kind of hard when you think about the same thing with a person that's a small business. They may be able to do certain things because they don't have all the overhead, but then they can't do the other things that the big boys do, right? Because they don't have the money. And the ones who have the money, they got so many people that they got to take care of that they got to eat all of it. They want the lion's share of it. We got a deal now that we're doing and got the funding done. They started out telling us they was going to give us 75% LTV. And now we're fighting to get to 70%. They played us. They put the carrot out there and said, "Oh yeah, we definitely get to 75. No problem." So we based our numbers off of what, ladies and gentlemen? 75%.
You got to come up with that 5%.
Absolutely. And so
yeah, that's one of the things that they have been pushing. The lenders. I don't know where they're getting their money from, but they've been calling me every day. Trying to lend us money for business. And so again, I know that's going to be one of those catch-22s. Once you get involved in them, then you're like, oh Lord, you got to go down that street with them. I'd rather just get the money myself, or hold out on what I want, or what we need for the business, rather than just to take a loan with people who are maybe even predatory. I'm not even sure, but
and on that note, Vincent, we've actually decided, myself and some of my partners have decided that we are doing what some of the other communities are doing. Some of the other communities are pooling their monies together, right? Mm-hmm. And they're lending to their people, their communities, right?
Okay.
We have to start thinking about that. We have to start thinking about putting together and being able to give people opportunities, because when you go up against the other guys, the big boys, they make you jump through so many hoops.
Right.
And along the way, you get discouraged. I think about when I bought my first home, I did not know that there was another source that I could have gone to other than a bank. So my real estate agent at that time took me straight to the bank. I wasn't bankable. I wasn't ready to go straight to the bank. Had she took me to a non-conforming lender, and would have had some different algorithms, metrics that would have fit with it, I would have got approved for the house. But they took me to the bank, and the bank said I had to be here, 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 and here, no go. And they checked me off so fast and said no go. I lost my first home I was trying to buy because somebody else got financed for it and I wasn't able to, because I did not know. The education is so important. So what's happening is that my wife and I, we were at an event last night, a real estate event. 12,000 people under this one broker. We're in this big ballroom, and there was very few people that looked like us that was there. And I said, man, where are we? Where are the people? How do we deal with when you want to think that the playing field has been even, but it's not. It's been level, but it's not. And
well, this is one of the things why we have this channel. Mm-hmm. It's not just people that look like us, but there is a deficit in knowledge.
Absolutely. And in general, that's what I meant. I didn't really mean.
I know what you're saying, but I know what you're saying, because that is true. There are people that look like us that just aren't there. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, the people that you probably saw there are people that were invited and they had the golden ticket.
Yes.
We don't have. I mean, you have the golden ticket because you're going searching for it. Your wife has a golden ticket. She knows. People there, this knowledge is not well known. It's not well distributed. And I feel like we need to do something about that, because again, as I've been studying, I've been reading, I've been studying, I've been involved in this thing now for a little bit, and I said, wow, that's all it takes to become an investor. You just you just put some money down on the property and
Yeah.
you're an investor now. And then there
You
are other things that
gotta
go
have some.
along, tax
Yeah,
laws and everything that you can take advantage of.
yeah,
So, and then there are some things that could hurt you out there, but we don't know that. And because we don't know that, my people are destroyed, Bible
yeah.
says, for a lack of knowledge.
Lack of
And
knowledge.
I think that this program, you coming on, sharing your experience, being in that room, it just says something, that those people who were in that room, they know that something is going on. They know that something is happening.
Right.
As a matter of fact, something is happening really big in America,
Yes.
where again, like you say, the hedge funds, the huge, big people who have the money, I think they have a plan that they're going to buy up the land, and we are
Absolutely.
going to be renters
We renters.
rather than
Absolutely.
owners.
That's the plan.
But we have to, again, that's a giant that we have to fight,
Absolutely.
yeah. Let
Absolutely.
me see. There was one other question I was going to ask you. Let me see here. Um, anyway, so you are right now in a business venture right now.
Right.
And you were telling me about that business venture. Are you still heavily involved in that, the Black Project or something like
Yeah, the
that?
Black House Project.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. We are actually about expecting to close. As a matter of fact, I pray tomorrow, but it may wind up rolling over to Thursday. But at the latest,
Can you start to finish tell us how that worked? What is that?
so it's actually a high end luxury event space, and it's in a great community. Um, $1 million homes all around it. I mean, I'm talking. It's truly the idea of the neighbor next door being the millionaire. It's like the whole area is just surrounded. It's just a very exclusive part of Dallas,
Okay.
and it just so happened that the builder built some beautiful homes, built the beautiful spaces, I should say, and one of them. Uh, they're contemporary design, and one of them is a black house. It literally is a black house. So
Mm.
just looking at it, it's a perfect space for where it sits, and the size of it. It's about 7,000 plus square feet. Beautiful, beautiful landscaping, uh, astroturf totally surrounding the place, so low maintenance with grass and watering and all those type of things. But just a great space, really just a great space. And so we are uh, taking that project and we are doing high end luxury events and um, pop ups with chefs that come in and they want to do a pop up, but they don't want to lease a retail space or go to a building or whatever. They can come to this particular place and do their pop up there. They can do wine tastings there. They can do weddings there. They can do masterminds there. So there's so many different things that we have already.
So how many square feet is this building?
It's about 7,000 square feet. It's not a big
Okay.
space. Yeah, it's not a big space, but it sits on about a half an acre. But it's just like it's the location of it. It's just in a great location, real central to Dallas, and it's just in a high end ritzy area that when people see that area, they just you just think that something's happening there. There's some things going on.
So
So it's just a great place that we're looking forward to rolling out and sharing with everyone. But
so your ROI, return on investment, is going to be
it's
pretty
going to be
good on the
so
yield.
yeah, anywhere between 12 to 15% initially, but it's going to continue to get better because of all the different events that we have already planned for it. So it's gonna,
Okay.
but we're still trying to be conservative and not over promise, but we're gonna under promise, over deliver type. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's gonna be it's a great
So
business.
and once you move from that, where are you going to go to then?
So once we go from there, we actually have three properties uh, that are all $1 million properties that we're closing on. But our goal is to literally we're phasing and going into the more affordable homes. These projects just came up and they was just too good to pass up. The equity participation that we're allowed to have in those things. So it was just a great uh, uh, project. But ultimately, we want to deal with the affordable housing, and so we have about 500 locations that we've already picked out, and some we've actually already acquired the land for. A lot of regentrification taking place in these areas, and right now Dallas is like a melting pot. I mean, it's like it's the demand is crazy, and they're building sky. If you came to downtown Dallas, it looked like we're in Miami now because they have all of these high rises that are used. I mean, since they couldn't go out no further, they just start going up, and so we have high rises all over the place. Like people got these beautiful views to look at, and they just looking at other buildings and downtown, but we have some trees and all that type of stuff. But yeah, just a great area around that area.
So Dallas is changing that much, that significantly, that fast?
That fast.
I've got to come down there. I've got to come and see because I haven't been there in maybe several months.
There was a time where there are areas where they're building these homes. We would not be caught in those areas after dark, and now they have totally. It's amazing, especially I've been here all my life. I grew up in Dallas, so go Cowboys, right? I got on the Cowboys, you know. I'm just so I've seen what has been happening. So I actually kind of set back too long because I started doing other things. I got involved in cryptocurrency. I got involved in wealth preservation and some things like that. And now I'm just now really coming back into the real estate space at this level. I've been just dibbling and dabbling, but at the level that we're participating now. And I kick myself because I see things that have happened that I just didn't even think that no one would even be interested in those areas, but they have really come along, the powers that be, and they have cleared the people out. They have put in new streets. They're doing all these things because everything that's around downtown Dallas have in the last 5 years have doubled and tripled in price.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just like, I mean, there are homes, Vincent, that you could have got $80,000 for them, 7, 8 years ago. Now they want $350,000, $400,000, $500,000 for these same houses. But they're gonna gut them, and they just win. Yeah.
Let me just say this. Now that is interesting that you said that because I was, I do this other business. We look for properties that have went into foreclosure, and when we find the people, we try to inform them that they are owed money from the foreclosure because after the foreclosure, you're to get the difference between the price that the house went into foreclosure for and the amount that the people who came in to purchase the house purchased it at. And it's always 10 times the price, the original price of the house. As a matter of fact, there was one guy, and he was about 86 years old. He died. And the house was originally something like $85,000 when he bought the house. In the early, we're talking about going all the way back. But this is in California. I'm talking about past the 60s.
Oh yeah.
This guy had been in this house for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he died, and the house went up for sale for $700,000.
Yes. And
wait a minute. We were trying to find the relatives,
right,
to let them know that they had that much of a difference between 90 or $100,000 and $700,000. It's just massive. So you want to inform them, but there wasn't anyone who was still alive. Wow. And so that money goes right back to the state, and it's tied up in the state. So again, I know that you're telling the truth because I see these deals every day. Go ahead.
And that's the thing that is so important, that we get in the space of real estate because of that very reason. That is how wealth is created. Most everyone that's millionaires and billionaires, all of them have a what? Real estate portfolio. They, you
Yeah.
know, so you
Yeah.
see, it's amazing when you look at the people in Hollywood. They'll buy what? They'll buy a $40 million house in Beverly Hills, and they'll buy another one around the corner at 30 million, and another one, and they'll wind up owning what, 3-4 properties. And why? Because it's the best investment that there is. So
Yeah.
if they are able to buy it, they're gonna do what? They're gonna buy it. And what better place to buy it than in a community that you're already in? Because you say, well, why would they need 3-4 houses? Because they know that someone is going to come along and they're going to what? Pay them to rent the property, or they can just hold it long enough and it's going to appreciate in value, and they're going to pull their money out in a couple of years and do it again. And so so what people have to realize is that when you look at the real estate market, how many people eat off of a home that's sold? How many people, when you think about the plumbers,
Hmm.
when you think about the electricians, the
Yeah.
roofers,
Yeah.
the land, you think about the taxes, you think about the real estate agents, the title companies, the insurance companies. It's so much that
Right.
goes into.
I wish you'd say that again, because again, this is beneficial for a lot of people to know that when it's not about being greedy or becoming wealthy, it's really about just looking at life the way it is. People need places to stay.
Absolutely.
And like you said, how many people eat off of that property that was sold?
Yes.
You had the carpenters, the plumbers, the electricians, the
The
people who were
appraisers,
the contractors, the the people who actually surveyed the land. Everybody
everybody.
is involved in that, and they go home with a piece of that wealth for their home so
Right.
that they can take their family and maybe take them to get something to eat from the grocery store. And
Absolutely.
like you said,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and that's the benefit of this whole thing. Yeah.
And think about this. So, because something that we're doing, um, we feel truly that it's going to change the game. Because again, one thing that being in this space over this period of time, when I made the transition and decided to become an entrepreneur, had to understand leverage. When I started understanding leverage, everything started making sense to me. Because sometimes we get so caught up in thinking that, Vincent, we think that uh, we have to do it alone. We have to do
Mhm.
it by ourselves. And in today's time, you need a group. You need to come together and they work.
Yeah.
Because if you're having success over there in Oklahoma, I'm having success over here. Someone else is having success on the other side of town, but everybody's having their own little small successes. But man, imagine if we came together.
Yeah. That's so true.
Imagine what we could do. And that's what I want to say to the people that are interested in getting involved. You want to get with a person like Vincent, myself, and let's come together and let's
Mhm.
look at a project and let's take that project down. Like they say, how do you eat an elephant? One investor at a time. So
Yeah.
we
Right.
one investor can't get the whole thing, but we can all come together. And then at
Mhm.
the same time, when you look at that, you would rather have a percentage of something than 0% of nothing because you're
Right.
waiting to get approved. You're waiting to
Right.
get the fine. You're waiting, and time is clicking where you could have had some money already working, generating you some. Because at the end of the day, back to the story that you said that you were talking about, God wants us to do what? He wants us to put our talents to work. He wants us to make
Right.
what we do prosper and grow and multiply.
Right.
If you're sitting there saying, "Man, one of these days I tell you what, when I'm going to get my credit straight, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get a raise in my job, and and next thing you know, you're 65 years old, and you never had the opportunity to get
Yeah.
involved in real estate."
Well, 65 ain't bad,
Oh,
Claudia.
65.
I'm
Oh,
60. I'm 63 now, so you're pushing me on over.
I know that story sounded different when I was
Yeah,
younger. Now,
I'm your senior, but
yeah,
that's okay.
hey, 65, we're young. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like, hey,
Yeah.
it's just getting started. You know, I think
Yeah.
we said that. What was the guy? Colonel Sanders, when he started Kentucky,
Right.
he was what, 65,
Yeah, he
66?
was way over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
yeah.
there,
You
wasn't
know,
he?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you think about the people, JCP, you think about these people when they made their wealth, but look at what all they had to go through. So I just say, you know, it's a process, it's a reason that they talk about the tortoise and the hare. I mean,
Hmm.
just hey,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's just about staying persistent and consistent
Yeah.
and working towards the goal. But man, if we could come together, and that's
Yeah.
what we're doing. We're bringing
Well,
this.
and the leverage is very important because again, there are people who have this crab mentality. I was just looking at this one lady on another YouTube channel that I like, and she was talking about what she does is again she goes out and she searches for the money that is the foreclosure money. So she was saying that she needed people to work with her, but she said, look, first of all, we got to understand we are in the business of serving other people. And if I can get you guys who are on my team to realize that that's what we're doing, we are
Absolutely.
serving people. And that's and if we get anything, we all are getting it together. And so
Yes.
she was pointing that out because some of them get like it is in the what do you call Lord of the Rings, where you get the ring and then you go crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is my deal. This is my deal. But if you
Trust
go
me.
into life with that attitude,
I trust me. I done ran across a lot of those, and I'm like saying, guys, at the end of the day, when the deal came to you, you didn't have anything. Now I'm giving you an opportunity. Now you want the whole thing. It's just like
yeah, and
I don't, I
and
don't
that
understand that mentality. It's just man,
yeah,
it gets like so dogmatic and aggressive, and now everybody can. They don't need you because now but you laid it up for them, and instead of them taking it and allying it up for the next person, they just turn around and take the ball and say, now I'm going to charge y'all to play with this ball. You're like, dude,
mm,
we playing with the ball the
right,
whole time.
yeah.
Now I got it in your hands. Now you want to charge us to play
And
with
the rule is you pass it me, I pass it you, you
right,
pass it, and then we
right.
include this person. And yeah, I can see what you're saying. But you know, Jesus was had that problem too with his operation because there were people giving to Jesus ministry all the time, but then there was this thief whose name was Judas,
Yeah,
and he was holding the money bag. And the reason he was a thief is because he didn't really understand that they were doing ministry, serving other people, and he thought that the ministry was all about him. Being able to hold that money bag. This one of the reasons why he wanted to betray Jesus is because that rich man came to him and said, "What must I do to be saved?" And Jesus said, "Go give all your money to the poor." And I imagine Judas was over there in the corner saying, "No, he should have given the money to me. I would have held it in the money bag." And then
yeah,
we would have had him as one of the people who follow,
right,
Jesus.
right.
But he didn't understand that. But again, this idea of principles, of leverage,
Yes,
I think it's important to have the right people, though, that
very true.
you surround yourself with, that you're going to go into business with, because you just can't go into business with everybody.
Very
What do
true.
you say to that?
And that's true. You have to recognize in that process who is going to be the quarterback, who's going to be the receiver, who's going to be the
Hmm.
running back, and identify those players who's going to be blocking, who's going to be tackling. Just like everybody has a role. The problem is that when you have everybody trying to be the quarterback, and so you want to bring together the right people with the right mindset, but you do really have to interview each person and just kind of see
Hmm.
what their goals are and manage those expectations because it does me no good to bring a person in to help grow the team and grow the infrastructure but that person's coming in with a I me mentality and thinking that they're the best and you need them and they don't need you but they doing you a favor type scenario and you
Yeah.
have to nip that in the bud and just say hey we're all here and get it and get contracted up. You know, hey, here's what your percentage is. Here's what you're saying you're going to bring. Here's what we're going to do if you do. And then that way there's no misunderstanding. One thing that I do understand and have found out is that money makes people change. And
Mhm.
you want to get the contracts worked out before the money starts exchanging, because if once people get a taste of it, you and then you start trying to change up or add, you got a whole fight going on, and so it's so
Man, you can
important.
say that again. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's important to get an understanding, and we got to get
Mhm.
understanding. And here's the deal, Brother Rose, there's a whole lot of people with bad understandings out there.
Mhm.
They understand what they want to hear, so you got to put it in writing, and you have to make it plain, simple to follow, and then hey, and here's what you when you do this, you get this. Cut dry. We're not gonna do all. When you do this, this is gonna happen. This is what you're gonna receive,
Mhm. Mhm.
and follow through with that process, because that's the only way that you can get a whole lot of people working together. There's got to be an infrastructure in place. It's got to be uh, processes, expectation, transparency, those things, so that people know that, hey, you're not, because that's the next thing, like they said in God we trust, and they make everybody else pay cash. It's like that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
everybody, if you ain't God, I need cash. So that's the mentality. So we
So,
really
but what I hear you saying is that we need to surround ourselves with the right people.
absolutely.
And I guess what I really want to ask you is, what would be your advice, though, to somebody who went through foreclosure, that is now feeling defeated?
Mhm.
They are in this place where they don't realize the power of that's in on the inside of them, because of God said that he works miracles according to the power that's on the inside of you,
Amen.
which is the greater one lives on the inside of each and every one of us when we know Christ. But what would be your advice to someone who was in a defeated area where they had possibly lost their place to stay? How would they restabilize themselves? What do you think they need to do?
I think that first of all, we gotta forgive ourselves. Sometimes we beat ourselves up so much,
Mhm.
only to find out that other people have gone through exactly what we've gone through, and then they've came out on the other side. And while you think that they may be looking down at you, they may actually be identifying with you if they're honest with themselves. And 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 you hope that you got the right people around you that's praying for you.
Mhm.
And as you go through that process, you continue to have faith and believe in God, and know that He's never left us nor forsake us. Yeah, we may have lost the house, but He has something greater. We may have lost the car, but out of all those things, to be able to still have your health, still have your strength, still being able to have the mind to be able to get out and make some things happen, you got to keep that belief level up, of course. But putting yourself in an environment around the right people that are doing the things that you want to see them that's happening, because
Uh,
you got to get with the right people. You can't be on the outside looking, even if you're not really ready to play yet. Find out how you can fit in. And even if, sometimes we have to truly invest in ourselves. And and a lot of times, if they're going to share their knowledge with you, sometimes you're going to have to buy them lunch. You're going to have to buy them dinner. You're going to have to hang out with them for a little bit. You're going to have to show them that you are worthy of them taking the time to share, and that you're going to do something with it. Because a lot of people say they want to get in real estate. A lot of people say they want to do these things, but are they putting forth the things that are going to get them there? Or are they just sleepwalking, daydreaming, whatever the case is, having a
mhm.
having a nightmare actually? But if they really believe,
Mhm.
and that's something they want to do, yeah, man, there's so many people that have lost homes and come back and own mansions now.
Yeah.
But it's just did you it's what you do you still have the mentality? Do you still have the spirit? Do you still have that drive? Because as long as you have that, all the rest of it will fall in place if you just put yourself in the right places, get the information. One thing about uh, what's happening today that wasn't back when you and I first started business 30 years ago, and the internet. I know people don't believe it, but the internet, we were before the internet. Think about that. We were
Mhm.
before
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
WWW, right?
Yeah, I remember the first computer that I got. I got it from my wife. Because she was at a working for this business, and they were selling computers. And that was the first computer I had. It was a little small. It was first time I ever seen a computer. That was a laptop.
Right.
And it had 4 megabytes of RAM.
Wow.
4 megabytes.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, 4 megabytes of RAM, and that was it. So we're talking about the average computer now is what, 16 gigs
Right,
of
gig
RAM
and
or something. Yeah.
terabytes now. It's terabytes.
And then they're doing terabytes now, and the megabyte was like, it takes 512 megabytes, I think, to make up your just even a small.
Exactly right.
I think this cell phone that I have is more maybe 100 times more powerful than the first computer.
Oh, no question. Way more. These
So
cell phones are more powerful.
It's just amazing, yeah. And then we used to have those big phones, that you have to carry the entire big package.
I made a lot of money off them big phones.
Oh yeah.
So that's with the internet. Now there's so much information that's out there that people have access to, that even if someone is not taking the time to show you certain things, you can just about Google anything. And look, now the deal with that is that you don't understand all the little things that can knock you out, or and be careful where you get the information from. But there's enough information out there that a person can get back to the basics, and start realizing how they can participate in one way or the other. But they just have to. Most important thing, I think, a lot of times that people, when they go into entrepreneurship and even in real estate, you have to have some money saved up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to save some money up. You have to get disciplined with that, because it's one thing about being an entrepreneur. The paycheck ain't coming every Friday.
Well, you're right. And just for instance, I was just looking at they have an auction that just came up, and you have to have $1,000 to put down just to be in the auction.
Yeah.
And if you have some money saved up and it's not a problem for you, then you can put that $1,000 down and be in the auction. And if you got a little money ahead, you could get your first house. For if again the hedge funds don't come in, you can still get your first house if it's a fixer upper, and just move from that to the next thing. And I remember my father, he was a businessman as well, pastor, businessman, but he would always tell me, always keep something to the side. I never tell your mama everything that I got. He said, because I gotta be able to invest.
That's wisdom, Pastor. That's wisdom.
So he always had money. I mean, he would pay the bills, and if mom needed something she wanted a new dress or whatever, he would be doing that. And he always had a wad of money here, but he always had some money someplace else.
Right.
Where if he saw something that he wanted to buy, which he sold heaters and air conditioners and furnaces and things like that. He would be able to go and buy that and then resell it. So go ahead.
That's
you gotta have some money.
Yeah, you gotta have to. Everybody's like, you don't need.
And but that does that knock people out? I mean,
no, it doesn't,
because I don't want people to get discouraged.
It doesn't knock them out. It's just that, one thing that they have to do, if they don't have money, then they need to do what? OPM, other people's money. Partner with some people who have the money. You may have the work ethic, the sweat equity. You may have the credit, but no money, or you may have, whatever you partner, you can participate. If you need to partner with someone that has money and you bring a deal to them that they're glad that you're bringing it to them and allow them to participate, because had you not brought it to them, then they may not have been able to. But the deal is that when you bring it to them, don't think that you're going to offer them 20% and you're going to keep 80% just because you found a deal where they're using their money. It's not going to go like that. You have to be able to do what? You have to be able to not take the lion's share, but make money and let the people who bring the money make what they want to make. And of course, it's all in negotiation. But as long as it allows you to learn from it, make some money with it, and then take that, flip it, and do it again, they'll buy it every time you bring it to it, until you're able to just say, you know what? I got it. I don't need no participation now. I can do this on my own. I have my own set. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. I just think that time and consistency. If it's something that you really want to do, you have to get into spaces and go to places where people are making those things happen. So you see something that you like, find someone that's doing it, and then just imitate them. One thing
Right.
that we've learned: there's nothing new under the sun. They may have
Uh-huh.
they might have came out with a spin on it and tried to, but the basics are always still the basics. And so
Mhm.
in real estate, it's all about what? Location, location.
Mhm.
That is the key to real estate, is finding out, getting in the right areas where people are what? Where people are wanting to buy. And you get
Mhm.
there first. And if you don't have the money, partner with someone that does, take their property down and then make your profits and then and do it again. Rinse and
Mhm.
repeat. Rinse and
Mhm.
repeat.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that's one thing that I would definitely encourage people to get in the space. Don't keep thinking that you're gonna have to know everything. You have to have all the money. No,
Well,
get
if you surround yourself with the right people, like you said, then you don't need to know everything.
right. Exactly.
You have a number of people there, and there's a very popular scripture that for me and my wife, we like to say, one can put 1,000 of flight, but two could put 10,000.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that you have somebody with you, just one other person with you,
Yes.
um, grows your abilities exponentially, right? And
Absolutely.
if you have three
Absolutely.
people in it or four people, then you've got enough people that surrounding you going the same direction,
Absolutely.
and you're going to be carried along with it, you
Yes.
know.
It's absolutely this Black House project is a multi-million-dollar project, and we have several of them. I didn't do that by myself.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely not. I brought in other investors, and we all came in together to do those projects. Some people
Wow.
brought credit, some people brought cash, some people brought talents, some people brought law degrees, some people brought tax. We put the whole thing together, and we
Yeah.
brought and everybody brought their piece to the table, and
Right.
and so we're all excited on this project and all the ones that are about to come up, and so we're just gonna take that and just cookie cut it, and that's the
Mhm.
thing: just find someone in your network, and if it's not in your network, then get in their network.
Mhm.
But it's
If
all
there's somebody that wants to get in contact with you, um, is there a email or a number or
yes,
anything
absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. They can hit me at Clardy Rich, ClardyRich, Clardy Rich at gmail.com.
Okay, let me see here. I don't have that. I don't have that little comment there. I want to put that up there. Let's see. And secondary text. Go ahead, give me that again.
CLA. Matter of fact, let me give a different one. Let me give a different one. Let me give a different one because in that way I can have it separated from others.
Okay, go ahead.
Give me it's CF Rich RICH LLC at gmail.com. CF Rich LLC at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that should work better.
Yeah. CF Rich.
Claudia Rich. And let's see if we're gonna get that up.
CF
If
Rich.
that is that, but it's a little small there.
Yeah, there it is. CF Rich LLC at gmail.com. Right.
Yeah,
And
LLC.
I go by C Rich, just
Is
so
it
everybody
LLC? It's not LLC. It's
LL,
LL.
yes,
Mhm.
LLC.
Mm, get LLC. All right, yeah, that's LLC at gmail.com. And again, if they want to get in part of become even maybe just investigate becoming an investor, or maybe asked if you need some help, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And we also teach them how to deal with the the other side of that, dealing with the capital gains, because that's something that when you get in this space, they have this thing called capital gains,
I
meaning
know. Yeah.
that, well, I tell you, they came up with every kind of way.
Yeah, right,
You
right.
know,
They know it. They're right. They're going to get in to get their
we,
money some kind of way.
we have involuntary partners, whether you want them or not. They
Yeah,
come in and they say, "Oh,
yeah.
you know,
They wait around till the money's made and the
yeah,
creativity has been done and everything else, and then they swoop in
swoop
and
in."
they want to become part of it.
Yeah, yeah. Now they are private. They are
That's
private
that's pretty
investors.
much how
You
the
didn't even
government
know.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
didn't know there was a silent partner. Yeah.
yeah.
But they get real loud when the money hits the table. So we talk about ways of how to counter that as well. There are ways to do that, and so we share with you how to be able to make the money, but not only make it, but how to keep it. Yeah.
Are you going to be starting up your own YouTube channel too? A little bit
Yes,
later.
yes, we've been talking
Right.
about it, and we are working on a podcast, and it's just we just got to take the time and get the discipline like yourself, and just make that happen. And and so
Yeah.
we are going to uh,
Yeah.
start doing that on a more frequent basis because it's a great way to share information, but also find individuals of like minds that
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to. Want to know what you're doing and how to participate with it. So yeah, we are definitely going to be doing something like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, because again, this program broadcast is about getting people past the doors that have been closed in your life, right? There are many doors of foreclosure, and the world wants you out, but God wants you in, right?
yeah,
He said,
right.
"I'll open the door that no man can shut," and that's one of the
Yeah,
things that I believe that the Lord wants to do for everybody. And even in this last time where we are in these times where you say, well, it doesn't matter. We're getting ready to go see Jesus, and rapture is going to happen and all of these things. Well, it may be true, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, we still are told to be fruitful, multiply, fill, replenish the earth, and do things that make God proud. Just like here we have that servant in Matthew chapter 25, that in verse 27, all of the servants, the other two servants did well because they invested, but then the slothful servant hid his talent, and he did not do well.
yeah,
And then God said to him, or the master of the house said to him, you should at least give my money to the bankers so that
right,
I can get some interest, some kind of
right.
way.
Yeah,
Use what you have,
absolutely.
and I believe God will multiply that, and you'll be surprised at what God will do. The
Amen.
Bible says again that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So
Amen.
we're looking forward to that. So I'm going to get off. We're going to get off. I thank you so much for
Enjoyed it.
coming on, and enjoyed talking to you. It's been fun. We'll be talking more,
I hope so.
obviously, after this, and on the phone and here and there. But
Absolutely.
again, everybody, you have Brother Claudy's email. Go ahead if you want to just inquire about more stuff. You can call him up and inquire with him. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for watching, and you guys keep the doors of life open.
Amen.